Hi.
My name's J.C. McCauley.
I'm Naisha McCauley, and you're watching AccessTV.org.
All right, my friends, once again, it's time to get our talk on. This morning, talk with me, your host, J.C. McCauley, along with the champions of talk. This morning in studio, we have talk champion Cleo Duke-Wright in the house. Good morning, Miss Cleo. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good this morning. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Very well indeed. No complaints whatsoever. A little windy outside.
A little windy. I thought you were going to call me and say, don't come. You know, in the middle of the night, I'm looking at all this rain and, you know, I saw a couple of trees down when I came.
Wow.
Not big trees yet, little trees. And, you know, they didn't have
Down trees.
Yeah.
No wires, though.
No wires. They were shorter than wires.
I thought about it. I said, you know, I should call. I said to my wife, you know, maybe I'll send Cleo a text message saying, you know, if you feel unsafe or don't want to come, just let me know. But then I thought, no. I says, you know, maybe you could do a story or something. So I says, I could see. Now Stan had me come get the story together, and now you gonna tell me you don't want me to come? I'm through with him.
Now, yeah, I would be far from that, but no, I looked at. Actually, I thought the call that you made to me last night was to tell me not to come because the weather was going to be bad. But when you said, "Are you going to tell a story?" I said, "Oh, I guess I'm telling a story because I'd have come. I'd have come in the rain in the wind." Well, I did, but it's not raining as hard.
Yeah, they said it was supposed to. The bulk of the rain would be during the nighttime into the morning, and that today would be basically just very windy. It was supposed to get up to like 56 degrees.
Yeah,
too.
I said my phone says 54 degrees this morning, and that was the breeze coming in was a nice breeze. It wasn't a cold breeze. It was just kind of a warm breeze. It was a comfortable breeze. I didn't mind it at all.
Well, that's not that. I guess that's to be preferred over the bitter cold. Like tonight is supposed to go down to 10 degrees.
I know. I heard that it's going to be terrible in the next couple of days and weeks to come. They said the temperature is going to plummet and it's going to be colder than we have had in years. You know, I'm saying, oh my goodness. Well, enjoy the day. Enjoy this day.
Well, you know, there could be snow out there. It could be drifting, and, you know, you can't get out your house because the snow drifts are up against the door. And, you know,
I don't think the kids today remember a lot of that because it doesn't snow like it used to snow, you know. Yeah. But I remember it being up to the window and looking out the window and saying, oh, good, no school.
My daughter wanted snow for the holidays, and I remember maybe it was just before Thanksgiving, and she was saying, you know, she would hope that it snowed. So I looked at the Farmer's Almanac to see what the forecast was, and it said precipitation, chance of, you know,
a little snow,
but we got the precipitation, but
no snow.
It's not cold enough. Not here. Now, lots of places got plenty of snow.
Oh, yes. You know, I thought I heard wrong the other day when I was listening. I was listening to the radio or the TV. It said California had 5 feet of snow, and maybe there's going to be another foot. I said, 5 feet of snow. So I don't know if I heard that right. And I told my son that. And he says, 5 feet of snow, 6 feet of, I said, that's as tall as me, Ma. You sure? So I don't know if I heard that right.
I don't know. I do know that like parts of Texas, you know, because this cold is just dipping down across the central part of the United States, and then of course it's pushing out toward the East Coast.
Yes.
But it is cold out there, and it's coming our way.
It's
so
coming our way.
I'm glad we didn't get a lot of snow. I like the snow, but in moderation. I don't.
You're not crazy about it, but you like it.
Yeah, I'm fortunate that I don't have to shovel, but I do. And I like the snow, maybe once a year. Big snow.
And that's it, because the sun always shines after a snowstorm, or after it snows heavily. The sun comes out right after.
Mm-hmm. And
Usually the sun
real
comes
pretty and nice out and all that kind of stuff. So yeah. But hey, I personally prefer for there to be big snow during school, and then the kids get to stay. I like when the kids are home.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. And I will admit to being a little bit, a teeny bit possessive and overprotective. So I feel much better when they're home.
Yes.
As opposed to out and about.
I remember wanting everybody home when it snowed.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember it be snowing really heavily, and my dad wouldn't be home.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd sit by the bedroom window and just sit there until my dad came home. I said, "Where's my dad? It's getting late. Where's my dad? Where's my?" And one time they had a vacation. Not a vacation. They went to a funeral in Syracuse, and it snowed very heavily, and my parents were not home.
Mm-hmm.
And in those days, they left us. They left us by ourselves, because of course we could just go across the hall if we needed help.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a long time before they came home. I'll never forget that feeling of, oh my goodness, where are my parents? Kids worry about their parents sometimes.
They
do.
I
really worried about my parents.
They do worry. It's I guess for children, you're really all they have. You're all they know. I know my daughter's sitting in the living room, and she's tall. She's taller than her mom. My youngest daughter. She's taller than her mom. Very lady-like looking. She doesn't look like an 11-year-old. Mm-hmm. And so, she looks older than her older sister. She's taller than her older sister, too. So she's in there watching something YouTube-ish or something. But she has we call it bouncy. It's called bouncy because it was part of, those bouncy seats? That you put the infants in and they bounce.
Oh, yeah.
And they like that bouncy feeling.
Yes.
Well, the bouncy seat was Seven's, her older sister's bouncy seat. And then her older sister obviously outgrew bouncy, but then here comes Nia. So it became Nia's bouncy seat. And Nia would bounce in that thing until the thing literally, it broke. The metal spring, it finally snapped from her bouncing. Or she would bounce it up off the floor. So we call it bouncy. But the fabric of bouncy seat, she is holding it right now. She's in there with it up to her face, watching her things. So we tease her. We take bouncy and stuff like that. And I was teasing her the other day. I said, "What does that thing smell like?" She says, "Well, it used to smell like chicken until mommy washed it." Right? So, she has this. Now, just a long, drawn-out way to talk about the fact that kids have comforters.
Yeah.
And so I guess the greatest comforter children have is mom and dad. And when they're not around,
they have that.
But if mom and dad don't come back in a certain amount of time, I guess kids wonder and they get scared.
They know what time they're supposed to come back. They're not back. It's an hour later, then 2 hours later. Nobody's telling you anything.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. My sister had a comforter. She used to take a blanket. I'll show you. She'd kill me. She would take a blanket and she would fold it like that, fold it so there was a point, and a point like that. And then she would just, that's what she would do. She would just rub it back and forth, and it was a blanket, and she would do that all the time.
That's funny.
And that was that. I guess she did that for years when she was young. Just took that blanket and just went back and forth. And
soothing, makes her feel, But kids have these things, and some of them, oddly enough, carry over into adulthood.
Oh yes, because my brother shook his bed, got like and would shake his bed, and I sucked my thumb. So we all had, and I sucked my thumb until I was 17 years old. And I knew a woman who sucked her thumb until she died. She sucked her thumb her whole life, this grown woman. And she never stopped. And you can see one of my fingers is flattered. This one is flattered. And this one. They did everything. They did everything to try to get me to put hot stuff on it. But as soon, and it's probably the same as when the bouncy seat and Ines with her, as soon as you start that, your whole body just relaxes, and you don't even know you have your finger in your mouth, or you just relaxes your whole body. And I think that's what comforters, that's what they do, because I remember the feeling I had when I sucked my thumb, and I sucked it. 17, I was about to go out to work. I was still sucking my thumb. When my father and I, it was just me and my father, and he'd come in the house and he said, "Come on, gal," and so we'd get in the car and he'd start driving, and I'd suck my thumb and just relax, and it was just a very nice time. It's probably the same kind of thing your daughter will probably say when she grows up.
Yeah.
About her bouncy.
Well, parents, kids, mom and dad, and yeah. Well, of course, it is the time of year where families come together, and friends, and holiday parties, and we have these cycles that we go through, and they're very, very, I guess they in and of themselves are comforting. These little mini rituals that we have, and they I guess they're as expected and as anticipated as the weekend. Because some people don't like the rituals. Oh, I don't celebrate this. I don't celebrate. You celebrate the weekend. Every weekend
they got it Friday.
Right.
Yes.
52 times a year that the holiday comes.
You rush out of that job. You rush out of school. Right. Yes.
So you got your annual your weekly celebration, and then you got the little quarterly celebrations, and then you have annual celebrations. Oh
yes. I don't know if I celebrate too many things, but I do celebrate the weekend. Sometimes I don't get a weekend, but the ones I get, I celebrate, and I enjoy. I enjoy that. I enjoy being, I can't think of any other word but naughty, because I escape from everybody around me, and I go do my own thing, and it's just like the world's mine. I can do anything I want to do. Here I go, and here I come, and then I just do, and I don't have to be with anybody, but sometimes I'm with friends, and it's just a wonderful day. Then I have to go back.
That's interesting. I've never heard it explained quite that way. You hear you hear people explain certain things that you're able to partake in vicariously. It gives you a sense of, or a taste of, that which is like forbidden, and but naughty, kind of just serving yourself. And there's no one around, so you can be truly you and do what you want without with no judgment whatsoever.
And there must be a special smile on my face when I do this, because people come up and talk to me, and I talk to them, and I have a good time with them, and I just go on my way, and I must have had that look on last night, because when I came home, somebody was parked in my parking space. And there was a car parked beside him, and so I parked right behind him. And he came and got in his car. No one was in his car when I parked. He got in his car, so I parked right behind him, really close. I got in my car, took my stuff, locked the door. I knew he couldn't get out. Locked the door and started walking up to the house. And he rolls down the window real fast, and he says, "I'm blocked in." I said, "Yeah, you're blocked in." I said, "You're parking in my parking space." And then he had this sympathetic look on us, and just, what are you gonna leave me here like that? And so I said, "It's raining out here. I got these things in my hands. It's raining out here." And he said, "Yeah." I said, "Okay." So I get back in my car, because I wasn't gonna leave him there. I got back in my car and I backed up. He gets out of his car once he gets out of that space, and he says, "You know what? You are such a nice lady. I know you're a nice lady." And he runs back. It was raining hard. I don't know. He got out of his car and he said that, and he went on his way. So I'm thinking I might have had one of those looks. That special look when you're naughty and you're kind of free. You just talk to anybody. And I was in a happy or grateful mood at the time. I wasn't really trying to be mean to him, but I wanted him to ask me to, so kind of on the naughty side, but I did that. And
that's funny.
Then I had a little minute or two conversation with him. When he jumped out of his car in the rain, no umbrella, no coat, just jumped out of his car. So,
well, the 2022 is coming to an end quickly. One more week left, and then it's 2023. Time flies, and I can remember when 2000 seemed to be like in the future. It's like a date that would never ever actually get here, and now it's 2023. I remember 1999, Prince song, of course. We're gonna party like it's 1999. Super New Year, end of the millennium, beginning of a new millennium, and YK 2000, and all the computers were supposed to stop, and airplanes were going to fall out of the sky. Nuclear power plants were going to not run anymore. Your anything that had a computer chip was going to stop. I remember my dad went out and got a generator for the house, so that you could put the house on a generator. And
why do we believe? I mean, God's still in control. I'm sure he didn't come down and say, "Look, this is what's going to happen." So where do we get those things from?
They're like a lot of stuff. They just catches wind, and it just blows. People say things. They're not substantiated by anything, or maybe they're substantiated to a degree and then taken out of context or exaggerated, and then it just becomes like fire burning through a forest.
Remember that year where people went out down to the beach or something because Christ was coming back, and all these people came because they were going to be taken up into heaven.
Oh yeah, you have those. I don't. I would imagine those things still happen. You just don't hear about them like you used to. I remember when those kinds of things used to be widely reported.
Yes.
Like an end of time cult. And all these people were coming. Remember Jim Jones?
Oh, God, yes. How could anyone ever forget him?
Those kinds of events. They don't get much news today. The news today is very disturbing. Only in that, like American news, only in that it only covers a very narrow band of events. You would think that there's nothing else going on. There's all kinds of stuff going on. We just we just don't hear about it.
They don't. If the word God or religion, they don't talk about that anymore.
Not anymore. No.
Not at all. On the when I listen to faith radio, and when people get to my car, they say, "Oh no, turn that up! I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that." I said, "Well, that's too bad. That's my radio, and that's what I listen to, and I'm not changing the station." My son, as soon as he gets in the car, changes the station. And so I finally got to say, no. That's what I listen to, and it's going to stay right there.
Right.
And the young man that I take care of every day, he says the same thing. He says, "Oh, Cleo, no. I don't want that music. I don't want that." I said, "Well, Ryan, you got that music today. You're going to hear it today." It's what, from one place to another. How long do they have to listen to it? Maybe something will catch. No, so I leave it there.
Well, music that kind of puts you in check. It's like you don't have permission to be quote unquote naughty, but in your mind you can be. And then here's this kind of music and words trying to remind you that you're not acting like you should, and so people want to turn it off because something you said was kind of spark a thought, which was you don't hear about God. I remember when you used to hear about God in the news, but it was always negative. This was wrong, or this group of people did wrong, or priests did this, or ministers did this wrong, or this church cult, or whatever. And it was always kind of like chipping away at those folk, and this is not so good. They're not all they pretend.
Well, Billy Graham was always in the news.
Billy Graham
and his crusades were always in the news.
I remember when those were that was big news. That was big news,
and people would have Billy Graham on their programs, and he would talk. And remember, who was the man who came on every Saturday morning and healed people? Roberts.
Oral
Roberts. He came on every
Oral Roberts, yeah.
Saturday morning.
Yeah.
And we got up and we listened to him every morning, and we saw people healed all the time. Of course, we said we didn't believe it.
I remember the healing. Yeah. In fact, there were a couple movies that were couple documentaries trying to expose, and movies about false healers, and having earpieces and the wheelchairs and fake healing. Yes. People would come in.
I don't think anyone ever proved that he was not healing. I never heard it if there was. Oral Roberts
University. In fact, I want to say he was in Tulsa. Was he in Tulsa, Oklahoma?
I don't know.
I can't remember. Yeah, I remember Oral Roberts built the hospital, and it was very controversial because the hospitals that were around there already had quote unquote too many beds, and by Oral Roberts building a hospital, the whole thing was it would never be profitable, couldn't pay for itself. There weren't enough sick people in order to fill the beds and all this. And
there's plenty now.
Oral Roberts, yeah. That was back during the evangelistic the TV evangelist wars. Jimmy Baker.
Oh, Jim Baker.
Jimmy Swaggart.
Yeah.
Jimmy Heritage Village USA.
And those couple of them sinned big time.
Oh yeah.
They got lost.
Jimmy. Oh God, give it, Lord. Yeah, he was crying. Yeah, I remember that. I remember that very well. Yeah. That was Jim Baker, Jimmy Swaggart. Oral Roberts University, Heritage USA. Jimmy Baker at one time had the largest satellite television network in the world.
So you can get people to believe and really and change their lives, and you get lost.
Yeah. Well, all have sinned and come short of the glory of God, even the TV evangelist. Yeah, there's nobody walks on water.
No.
A lot of people think their leaders do.
Yeah.
Well, televangelist has been replaced by the politician. They are now the purveyors of we can heal you, fix you, and make life better for you in all areas. Just trust us.
Yes, and we could tell by the situation in the world. We could tell that it's true, right? That they can fix things, right?
Or so they want us to believe, right?
Yes.
So they want us to believe. All right. Well, it's morning talk. It is. Well, it's not the last Friday before the New Year's, but it's the last Friday before Christmas, which is of course Sunday this year. Which, incidentally, for church-going folk, the church attendance is at its lowest when Christmas is on a Sunday. Isn't that something? That's a sad statement when you consider.
I'll be in church Sunday morning, 8:30, and I'll be at the Christmas Eve service. But some people said, "You think I'm getting up at 8:30? It'd be at church 8:30 on Christmas? I'm not doing that."
That's the deal. People want to stay home. They really don't want to come out because it's Christmas. I ain't up at 8:30 to go to church. I'm gonna sleep in. It's Christmas. My kids and grandkids are coming over this time. So at the top of people's list for Christmas is not celebrating anything of a nature of spiritual or religious or anything. It's turned into a complete, I guess, secular holiday. There's some that would say it's always always been a secular holiday.
The ones who know what it really is, we just have to keep working and reminding people that what it's really all about. Not all about. It's not secular.
All right, stick and stay. We'll be right back.
Independent thinkers are Puerto Rican, Mexican, Peruvian, Indian, Bosnian, Italian, Irish, Jamaican, African American, European, straight, gay, Nigerian, transgender, Christian, Jewish, Muslim, short, tall, skinny, rich, poor, happy, sad. Some of us hold a PhD and others a GED. And though we may be Democrats, Republicans, or members of the Working Families Party, we all have escaped the plantation of party politics and become independent thinkers because we as individuals are more than a party. You see, independent thinkers come from all walks of life. And the one thing we all have in common is that we love, live, laugh, and learn in the city of Hartford. We are the constituents, and the government of Hartford belongs to us. My name is J. Stan McCauley. I'm an independent thinker, and I approve this message because it's time to stop towing the party line and vote for a candidate you can trust. You too can escape the plantation of party politics if you have the courage to free your political mind.
Hi, so my name is Nelky Maldonado.
My name is Ramon L. Arroyo.
And we know that Hartford Parent University provides good services and resources to parents in our communities, which are greatly needed because a lot of times our parents, they don't know where to go, how to get information, and being part of this program is essential to them in being successful in their children's education.
And I think that parents should get involved in their kids' education because it's very important. Education is, I always believe, is a success in life. If you got a good education, you can be very successful.
So we encourage our parents to please come join the program, ask lots of questions, and I'm telling you, you won't be disappointed.
Hi,
My name's J.C. McCauley.
I'm Naisha McCauley, and you're watching AccessTV.org.
All right, my friends. Welcome back. Morning Talk. I'm your host, J.C. McCauley, along with the champions of talk. Today's talk champion is Cleo Duke-Wright. Welcome back, Cleo. There we go. Forgot to open up your mic. There we go. That's better. All right. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. We're good. All right. So, last Friday before Christmas,
I just have to leave at 9:30.
9:30.
Yeah.
All right. We'll be done by 9:30.
Okay.
Yeah. The I see you have some candles there.
Yeah, I do. I have. Don't quote me on knowing the proper names for this, and I apologize to my Jewish friend, my Jewish brothers and sisters. But I borrowed this from a friend of mine, and I was with them on the third night of Hanukkah. I got to light a candle. And, of course, I got the Christmas lights, and so we don't have a Christmas tree in here. I tried to be a Christmas tree. I got the necklace that's for the tree, and the holly, the red I got. And then I didn't get the hat, but I wanted to look Christmassy today and festive, and so I could bring the spirit into the studio with me when I came. So let me just tell you just a few things. The reason I bought the two, the differences, it just slips my mind. Just slips my mind. I'm sorry. It's because without the Jews, we would not have Christians. Because Jesus was a good Jew. And he followed God's words, and there was no New Testament. There was just the Old Testament and God's laws. And all through the Old Testament, they're waiting for something. They're waiting for the coming of the king who's going to do battle and bring the Israelites back to where they should be. They didn't. So there were some Jews who wanted to just follow the law. And the law, just like it is today, they followed the law. And the law was kind of, they used the law to oppress. They use the law to oppress, just like they do today in so many cases. They use the law against the people, and more for the people who were more running the government and the taxes and all of that. And so the law was not doing most of the people as much good as it should, although it should have done wonders for them as God wanted it to do. But this is just my estimation of it, my thinking as I'm thinking about the Old Testament and the New Testament. I'm thinking, when we're kids and our parents give us the rules and we don't have a choice. We got to follow those rules or else. So it's all through our very young lives. We don't have choices. We just have the law. We just have the rules. And then there comes a point when we're growing up that we get to think for ourselves. And hopefully our parents have done such a good job that those rules and those laws and those are inside of us. And they're a part of us, so we're never going to lose them. But we needed those at a time when we didn't know anything. When we were just babies. So we had these laws and we had these rules. So that's how I see it. the difference between the Old and the New Testament is because they were rules. And so when Jesus came along, he said, oh, no, no, no. That's the rule, but look at it this way. And he told many parables about the same law. He didn't change anything. He said, now look at this and look at that. And he changed the way we thought about it. We changed the way we thought about God. Not this cruel, cruel person that did this, that, and the other thing. But there is a time when we are too young. And we can't rule. We can't decide for ourselves because we don't know. We're new. We're babies. What do we know? And then God called Abraham. This after he was promised the people this, and he led them through all of this, and he did all of these things for the people. They still did what they wanted. They still turned away from him, just like today. So God said, well, I'm going to change this. I'm going to do something else. And he called Abraham. What did Abraham know? He didn't know anything. And he had this feeling. You know that feeling you get when you ought to go a certain way, but then you go the other way and then find out later you should have followed your feeling? Well, that's the kind of feeling Abraham had. And he said, all right, I'll listen, I'll go. And God made him promises. And that's where we come to know the Hebrew and the Jewish people began. The beginning of the Jewish people. So every Hanukkah, they light these candles. And each day, they light a candle and they say first they say a prayer. Then they light the candle. And then they share their presents. Now that's the Hebrews. That's the Jewish people. Okay? They're waiting for somebody. Now, Jesus comes along and he is born. Okay. And we start Christmas. You know, and we have all of these personal traditions. But it's Christmas. And it's about Christ. I'll put on my little necklace here. It's about Christ. And Christ was born in a manger. So I have a story for you. One I made up many years ago about someone who knew about Christ, learned about Christ, knew the rules, read the Bible, but it didn't mean a thing to her because she wanted to go live life. And all through the story, I want you to remember that God is still in control, regardless of anything, regardless of what we're going through. God is still in control. All right, I want to tell you about Mary Beth Louise. Well, Mary Beth Louise was rambunctious, and she just loved to go. She grew up in the church, of course, and her mother was very, very religious, very spiritual. But Mary Beth Louise didn't want to hear anything about it. So one day, near Christmas, Mama was at the kitchen sink, and she was getting ready to start planning her Christmas meal. And she thought about Mary Beth Louise, and she said, Lord, as she began her prayer, Lord, I bless your holy name, and I love you, and you are the creator of heaven and earth and all that's in it, but please help my daughter. Mary Beth Louise, I don't know where she's going. I don't know what she's doing. Please be with her every moment of her life. Don't leave her. Lord, don't leave her for a second because, Lord, in my humble opinion, Mary Beth Louise don't have any sense at all. She doesn't know you, and she grew up with you in the church. She knows her prayers. She knows her Bible, but yet she will not recognize you. So please, Lord, be with my daughter in all that she does. Well, in the meantime, Mary Beth Louise is coming home. And she's coming home from work. Now, she didn't go get a trade, and she didn't go to college because she didn't want to. She wanted to get a job, and she wanted to live her life. So she was coming home from work, and she was passing the poor part of the neighborhood, the part that she actually grew up in. And the kids were playing, and they was fighting, and they was doing all kinds of things. And just this feeling came over her, I should go help them. I should go help them do something. I should give everybody a gift. I'm lucky enough. I don't know. She didn't know why she was thinking this, but she was thinking it. And so she said, all right, I'll go do that. And she came home, and Mama was still at the sink, and she said, Mama, I'm going to go out on Christmas, and I'm going to give all of these children Christmas gifts. I'm going to spend my money to do that this year. And said, Mary Beth, you going to give any of us Christmas presents? Mama, don't worry. I got it planned. I know what I'm going to do. And she was good to her word. Every week, she put away some presents for the children. She bought herself a costume to be Mrs. Santa Claus, and she was going to go out and help her neighborhood and her children. Well, Mama thought about this, and she said, well, this sounds good, and maybe she'll get back to the Lord. Maybe the Lord is talking to her. She couldn't figure it out, but she knew how her daughter was, and she was scared. So the day finally came. The day finally came. And Mary Beth Louise, she went into her room, and she got all dressed up, and she even put on a little hat. And she went out there with her big bag of toys, and she tried to sling them over her shoulder, but she couldn't because they were too heavy, so she kind of dragged them along. And Mama said, where you going? Well, Mom, I'm going out to give my gifts. She said, well, Mary Beth, you don't have a car. You got to get on a bus. I know, and I'm going to walk, Mama, and I'm going to give out my gifts. That's what I'm going to do. Mary Beth Louise, he said, Mama, I'm going to do this. I'm going to give out my gifts. And Mama looked at her and knew she was serious. And Mary Beth Louise went out that door, and she said, ho, 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 Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, ho, 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 ho. And she took that bag and she dragging it on the bus, and people looking at her like, what's she doing? Dragging her, she, you can't mess up the crowd, the aisles. The bus driver said you can't leave that bag in the aisle. So Mary Beth Louise pulled it as close as, and Mary Beth said, that's as close as I could get. Now go. So Mary Beth Louise, sometimes she was just a little disrespectful, but she told that bus driver, I'm not getting off the bus, so you better go. So the bus driver started going. And when he came to a certain spot, I don't know exactly what spot she planned, she got off the bus and dragged her bag with her and gave the bus driver kind of a disgusting look and started giving out her gifts. And everybody was looking at this, is she crazy? And they didn't come too close to her. But the little kids, of course, they're going to come. But they kind of stayed back. But after a while, people started coming up to her, and she gave away till night every child she saw. And finally, she only had one present left, and it was like a teddy bear. And this little boy came up to her, and she said, well, hi. Merry Christmas. He said, you ain't Santa Claus. What are you doing? Santa Claus coming tonight? Is you messing this thing up for us? She said, oh no, I'm Mrs. Santa Claus. And I just wanted to come out here and give you presents and see how Santa Claus feels on Christmas night and Christmas Eve. Huh. All right. But you sure Santa Claus coming? I'm sure Santa Claus is coming to your house. Now let me see. Oh, you know what? I don't have any little boy toys. I just had this teddy bear. And I'm going to give this to you. And that little boy took that teddy bear, hugged that teddy bear, and ran off. Well, by this time, Mary Beth was really tired. And she sat down on the curb because she was beat. And this woman came up to her and said, you know something, honey? I've watched you all afternoon. You know you did a dangerous thing to be giving away all these gifts in this neighborhood all by yourself. Anything could have happened to you. And Mary Beth just looked at her because she was so tired. She said, well, won't you come into my church with me? It's about church time. Won't you come on to my church to me and sit down and rest and be warm? And Mary Beth thought that was a pretty good idea. So she came into the church and she sat there a while in the quiet. And she had this nice feeling, this peaceful feeling. She didn't know. She said, this is nice. And then the church started to sing, and they all went around the manger. They had a big manger, and they all went around the manger, and they started singing. And Mary Beth felt this feeling in her that she had never, ever in her life felt. And she kind of scared a little bit, and she went out that door. She left. And as she's going home with an empty bag, the children ran out and just threw things in there. Some of them made these rocks with designs on them. They threw them in, and they threw in paper dolls and all kinds of things, paper planes and just little things that they had until her bag was full. And when she got to her door, the back door, Mama was sitting at the table just waiting for her and praying to God she'd be all right. And she walked in the door and she stood there and she didn't say anything. Mary Beth just stood there and she started to cry. Oh, Mama jumped up and she went and grabbed her daughter and she had her sit down. Mary Beth, what's the matter? What happened, Mary Beth? Did somebody hurt you? She said, no, Mama, nobody hurt me. And she told her Mama about the story, about how she gave away all her toys. She said, well, if you gave away all your toys, why is your bag so full, baby? She said, Mama, I went and I gave away all my toys. And I went to this church and they were singing and there was a manger. It was so beautiful, Mama. And then when I came out, I just had to leave the church. The children started putting things in my bag and thanking me. And it was just, I didn't understand it, Mama. I don't understand, Mama. What happened? I'm the one that went to give. What happened? Mama said, baby, I'm going to tell you what happened. You went out to give with all your heart. And then Jesus gave you so much more. That's what happens. You are loved. Jesus gave you so much more. And they both started to cry. And praise God. Praise God. Amen. And that's the story of Mary Beth Louise. I tell it every year.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, every year it's always different, but I always get kind of teary on that part where she discovers that she's a child of God. And her mother confirms that she's a child of God. So that's my story, and that's where it ends or begins for Mary Beth Louise. And it began here with the Jewish people. It began with the Jewish people. So I don't understand when they say, what's that word they use? When they say somebody doesn't like Jewish people?
Oh, Semitic.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Because if you're a Christian, I don't hate it. I am informing you that you are a Judeo-Christian. Because without Jesus, who was a Jew, there wouldn't be you. And so I'm going to say a blessing. I'm going to say a blessing, a Jewish blessing. And this is the blessing that they said. I have to read it. There are 3 blessings during Hanukkah that they say. And then they say the 3. And then for the rest of the time, which is 8 days, they say the first blessing. So I'm going to say the first blessing in English. They said it in Hebrew. Okay. Blessed are you, Lord our God, King of the universe, who has sanctified us with his commandments and commanded us to kindle the Hanukkah lights. And this is the 6th day of Hanukkah, so we light 6 candles. And I'm going to light these. Can't light that one. This is the tradition that our Lord came from. And I did this wrong. I'm sorry. I did it wrong. This is the helper candle. I don't know the Jewish name for it. And this candle lights the rest of the candles. This candle won't light, but so this I'm just supposed to light the first one and then light the rest of them. But it won't stay lit. Well, you get the idea, and then they blow the candles out, and then they open their gifts. So that is Hanukkah. That's all I saw of Hanukkah. But just remember, all Christians, that if it wasn't for the Jewish people, you would not be a Christian. I don't know if they had as God made them his people, as he made us his people from faith. You can follow all the laws, but with no faith, it's useless. It's useless. That's what Jesus was trying to tell us. Follow all the laws, but you must have faith. Because with no faith, you have nothing. And we also light candles. We light the Advent candles also at Christmas. So that's my story.
Very nice.
So I'm hoping that I did it kind of backwards and upside down because I don't know. I got ready in a hurry, but I hope I made a point.
I think you did.
I hope I made a point.
We
are one.
The every year you've done a holiday story.
Every year I do Mary Beth Louise.
I can remember. I remember the first. I think the first one was you actually were reading.
Yes.
To the girls.
Yes. Was the night before Christmas and all.
Yeah, the first one. But every year since then, I'm almost positive. It's been a while, because they were small.
They were small. Can we open our gifts now? Yeah, just one moment.
That's right, because it was on Christmas Day.
It was on Christmas Day.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, but every year, the story would have been gelled together a little more. If I had sort of planned on doing everything. But as I learn more and mature in my faith, Mary Beth changes a little bit, kind of every year, you know. So you can listen to it every year and you'll hear another Mary Beth Louise. But you'll always have Mary Beth and Mama. Always. Your mama was... when we have those different children, don't we worry about them all the time? All the time. You don't know what they're going to do next. You just pray and pray and pray. Oh, Lord, please help this boy. Please help this girl. Get it together. So, that is it.
Well, another Christmas passes as we get ready to head into 2023. And so we wish you the best of holidays and whatever traditions you keep during the holidays. Have a fabulous one. Share it with your family, your friends, and even a couple of your enemies. You know, embrace some people you don't know. Get to know them for the holidays at the very least. All right. So you got any plans
for Christmas?
Mm-hmm.
No. I am going to stay in my house if I can. I'm doing some baking for my in-laws, and that's it. That's it. I don't want to do anything else. I just want to, and I have the week off because it's Christmas vacation, so I have a lot of other things to do. But mostly, I'm just gonna take it easy and rest.
All right. Well, I think I'm gonna spend the day watching mindless movies. A mindless movie fest.
Oh.
Yeah. I could be suffering from show hole. You know, when you run out of something to watch, to binge on.
Oh.
I think that's what's wrong.
Are you going to have a show every day this week, or you're not going to
No, we'll be on. We'll do shows this week. Now, if you want to take off next Friday, that's not a problem.
Oh, well, no, that's up to you, because, you know, I'll be rested by next Friday.
Oh, okay. So. Yeah, we planned that we'll be here this week, Monday. Jonathan's got a program, a fabulous guest coming in, Kasiki, and Dr. Bone will be here probably on Wednesday, and of course Friday you'll be back, and we'll be doing Light Source Surgery Television as normal. So I mean, you know, the show is the holiday for me. I love doing this. I can't think of anything else I'd rather be doing by virtue of the fact that this is what I'm doing.
With the lights go out.
Yeah.
And we're getting closer to all the lights going out. You know, I've seen more houses with lights this year than I have seen in the last couple of years. So that was nice to see, even though everything is going up.
Well, my wife went out. Apparently in West Hartford they have this thing going on where all of the houses have lanterns out and things like that, and so they went driving around and taking pictures, and I was saying, you should put those on the air. She said, well, I don't invasion of privacy, putting people's private house pictures on Facebook. So but there are a lot of houses out there with lights this year, it would seem. So it would have been nice if it would have been some snow to go out and see them in the snow.
You know what would be nice? It would be nice if we still caroled. I used to
There
love
was
to go out.
supposed to be a carol in Sigourney Park. I really thought about covering it, but they moved it indoors to Glory Chapel because of the rain. It was supposed to be last night. I remember covering that some years back when Pedro Salgado was mayor, but
We used to go out our church. We would, what would it be called? We'd go out caroling, and we'd go to house, and then there would be a house where we would have hot chocolate, and then there would be another house where we'd have something else. It was all planned, and we just go around doing that, and we go into people's houses, and they would feed us.
that's always nice.
Yes.
All right, my friends, our time together's come to an end. We will see you next time right here. Bring a friend with you, and you'll have a fabulous holiday. All right, we'll see you next time. Y'all have a blessed one. Bye-bye.
My name is J. Stan McCauley, and I do business as Light Source Productions. I provide professional services in the area of strategic video communications. First, what we do is we help you craft your message using what I call the rule of the 5 W's: who, what, when, where, and why. We do event documentation, content acquisition, full-scale productions, editing, and of course distribution through our social media television network. And with social media, video is more important now than it has ever been. Whether you're talking big business, small business, nonprofit, church, or just an individual. Let's say you plan you're planning an event, a wedding, whatever the case may be. But let's say a big event, but no video. And you spent all this time, all these hours to put this event on, and maybe 100, 200 people attend the event. But more important than that is that thousands could attend by watching it on social media. But of course, you don't think about this until after the event is over. You can't afford not to capture it for social media. And despite what people think, I am affordable. Give me a call. Let's plan your next video project and share it with the world on my social media television network. I promise you that you will have the attention of one person, me.